Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you are all well. And we're going to look at May's themes, May's energy, guidance, what could be coming up. I'm going to throw in a couple of predictions, but also I will do a separate video on some more predictions. This might be split into two parts so that you can take a little bit and take the rest later. Some people like longer videos and then you can come back to it. So let me know. What else did I want to say for this month? Prophecies may come through, and with these, like always, if you're new to the channel, May doesn't mean that it's only in May. Actually, if you go back to some predictions, they're going to cover for future. I get a lot of stuff that's future, and even that I get downloads for clients, some of it is future rather than now or present. So do come back to the reads. If you like the channel, if you like this video in particular or a specific video, you can always hype, you can comment, you can like, and the membership is 1 tier now. I've added more to that membership. I was already adding more to that membership before before changing the tier or adding the tier. So I hope you find gratitude in that, because it was kind of like a gratitude membership. Members, you will get this first and then it will go out to subscribers. I also want to say I'm thinking to do an analysis of a crime missing case, but from an analysis point of view, for really to knock off all questions and doubts, given some people don't believe in psychics, although I'm quite a grounded psychic, which a lot of people don't like either. They like more woo-woo stuff. But so do look out for that and let me know in the comments if you're excited to see what we might cover there as a discussion. May. So May is May Mayhem, but not as intense as April. And I think then we go into the summer months, which I'm looking forward to, some shifts that might happen towards the end of June. Some people might find May more of a grounded energy rather than an action-orientated movement energy. They may find decision-taking more solid, or more solid in the beginning and like it was at the end of April, whereas now they might feel the mind is fluctuating between clear decisions or distracted by social media or inundated. Be aware that we will start to see our differences are not so large and we're not as divided, but rather it's those who wish to have that division and distract us and believe we are very different. We are very divided. By now, you should know who I'm talking about. May to August is quite significant. I'd say even May to October is very significant time frame of this year. This month, for many, collectively feels less intense on the fear and anxiety in terms of action and the world stage, and a bit more flowing while there's strategic thought behind it. However, I do want to add that I believe in the upcoming 10 days, we will see possible more violence in the Middle East, weapons of dangerous technology and dangerous, how can I word this, technical energy that's not being shown, that we can't quite see. But we're also having the universe that will disable some kind of mass weaponry of destruction, and that's coming from the universe as a protection for us. I worry about the weapons of mass, not the mass ones that are going to be destructed, but the weapons of technology, energy, the impact there, and we're not being shown. So I wonder how that's going to come up. I do want to say we've got grounded flights. I think there's going to be a technical failure in some airports, but you're going to see a lot of airports cancelling flights, and most of that's due to fuel, and you're going to see it in the summer holidays as well. Okay, so make sure you get your insurance out if you're planning to travel. Going back to the themes, I did say in the previous predictions, and I'm bringing it up again, I think there's going to be sport policies and legislation coming out by the year end. And I do think there's going to be more laws around protecting pets, or consequences around pets and animals, which means we're going to see more pet cruelty coming to the forefront, so that it really pushes that forward. Now, July is a big month, and there's going to be knock-off effects of what's happening now coming in July. If you remember, I said about Duck and his family need to be very careful during this period, and we saw what happened. Some people are going to say that's fake. Some people are going to say it was real. I'd be interested in your comments if you wish to. Some people might not comment because of the backlash, but I think on the channel we have a great community, regardless of whether we agree or we don't agree, mature in the way we approach stuff and voice, yet we do voice it authentically. I do think the US is going through a troublesome time and an identity crisis, and some of you in the US might agree and think, I'm not sure I understand what's happening in my country anymore. The global energy crisis, I mentioned prior, behind the curtain, and elites are making trade-offs and actually getting more money in by what is happening. But we're going to see that some of it is orchestrated by parties. There's a question I have, and I ask it for a reason. And that reason I'm going to keep shush on. But did Duck want to use nuclear weaponry on Iran at any stage, and it was blocked? And I was going to pull cards on this, and I might just do that in another video if you get more questions to make a whole episode. With Duck's attempt, it was interesting. I decided to go to YouTube it, and I looked at 3 different astrologers, and each one said something different. One was it was orchestrated, it was fake. One, you can't lie about the astrology, this was in his charts and was serious and happened. And another one said something else. And it just goes to show how people feel astrology is more tangible, and I would agree. But still, when I look, and I've looked into astrology myself because I do chart readings, you can see indicators. Okay, you can see indicators. Oh, that was it. Someone else had said this week looks a great week to go out to an event, meet new people, be the buzz of the party, don't stay in, which is also an interesting guidance, right? What I'm trying to say is that sometimes you can solidify the astrology after the event. You can make a warning or a balancing act, or a this can happen, this can happen, that can happen. To me, it tells me that also there's a possibility that astrology for such dates are not being implemented. I think we're going to see a possibility of demand destruction occurring because of the oil. And yes, that's where I say the flights that are cancelled, but there's also some airline failures due to technology or tech. There's this energy of, and I mentioned it in April, restriction of, because of this, what's happening, and it could be restriction on buying fuel, stuff in the supermarkets, flights, going to places, etc. It's kind of like the big C themes that I mentioned prior, but this is a lot more gentle, but you understand what I'm saying. There's that lingering, flowing energy that I mentioned in April, and here we go, restriction. Restriction was the word I used. It's like the years reoccurring also, previously still valid, the predictions that I'm coming up with. Now, I believe we're being lied to because there was a pushing of all these AI data centers, and I wanted to do a small segment on this, which I might do, which might not be, it might be a bit psychic, but also, you know, going a bit, giving you my take or facts on it. And maybe not facts, what do I want to say? Providing a messaging on it, awareness. But the government seem to be really pushing AI, data centers, digital stuff. Yet we have to reduce energy and electricity and fuel for us. Not only that monies that is costing, but we're getting asked to reduce energy, electricity, fuel. Yet they're pushing for data centers, anything that takes up energy. So that is very interesting. And obviously, we know the answers. It really makes you feel like, I want to say what the hell, but really, it's kind of like we try not to be the sheep, and we shouldn't see ourselves that way, but you can really see the topness. But it's good that we're seeing that, and if we're not, maybe we can through my videos and content, because that's what I'm here for. My content is not to drive fear or conspiracy, and that's why you see I try to stay away from it. And if something falls into that category of what I'm saying, that means that I fully believe it is down the conspiracy category. And a lot can be delved into when it comes to behind the curtain stuff. You're going to hear of some countries where they are seeing natural weather like they've never seen it before in decades, but they know it's their country's natural weather of decades prior. And I particularly mean around Iran and Iran. And that's due to secret sciences and bases that have been attacked and shut down, where there's been a control on that country of energy, tech. And so they might have had droughts in their country where now they're seeing natural rainfall, for example. And I think that is going to be something that I believe is coming up. I do want to say the dates of like the 4th, 5th, and 6th, I feel like are quite tense, and we might see something coming up. Although, as you see this, we might have just passed the Scorpio new moon, or if you remember, you might just see it prior, where it is the Scorpio new moon. So it might have something come up, yes. I think there's trade deals and something around that there's going to be some betrayal that we're going to see coming to light. Iran could be part of some high-profile trade deal. It could be to do with the Strait of Hormuz. It could be to do with oil. I do think there's a trade deal sometime later in this month, in the next 4 weeks, that goes as per Iran's favor, or what they've asked for, or something around that. I ponder to think, is Russia going to be involved in a deal? Because in this year, in this next 2 years, within this year and 2 years, I see Russia's structure changing. And if it's not their structure and their borders, they're refixing their leadership. Pay attention to the Zionists, the finance themes that are happening and playing out. I've mentioned them in previous predictions. Look out for them. And by now, you know what I'm trying to say and indicate, but look for those themes coming up. I think in the next few days, we're going to see UK or Ireland protests, some highlighting protests that could be around fuel, restrictions, crusader kind of type energy. And of course, it could be food prices. I think we're going to see people that are possibly really, really having to go hungry. And obviously, there's the next word after hungry, and it's hard for me to say. I don't want to bring that energy up, but we could see that on the news or witness it in our countries, and even maybe people actually needing help for food increasing. I do see that there's going to be a false guru, a false astrologist, and I don't know if this is because Spirit is bringing it that I'm going to catch this person, or if they're going to come to light to the media. I'd say probably towards the end of the month, maybe into the next. There's a potential of discovery in the ancient pyramids, Giza, another Sphinx. Egypt has big revelations that are coming up in the next 1 or 2 years, so we need to look out for that. May is not calmer, but it's not as intense as April. So we need to look at the 4th and the 6th period, like I said, and then possibly 16, 17. But I really feel the most tension around the last week of May. It feels very vigilante, it feels very underhanded, and I will make some predictions around this. And we won't be getting full truths. We're going to be treated, there's going to be underhandedness. Obviously, there could be war energy, but I'm not really indicating, I'm not, I'm leaving that on the side here. It's tense. And there's going to be, during May as well, something new and out the box in the news that comes out. Look out for it. It's very there in our faces, but the last week is tense, vigilante. This gives me possible shootings, a crime, terrorist attack, but it's in coherent. Oh no, in I can't get the word. Anyway, and also stockpiles. I'd look out around the very last days. Something the US is going to be bringing to the news. And I don't think it's as intense as April nor as July, although I don't know what's happening in July. We'll see what it is when we get there. Around the 4th and the 6th, do avoid hotheads because that feels quite charged as well. What will be told is coercion, lies, and underhandedness. I'm going to leave this part here and I'm going to record the next part in the next video. Do look out for a statement that could cause a fallout. I see a reaction from China on something. Canada, there could be a train issue, and I was getting a train issue for somewhere else as well. And I just want to tap in before I say the country, but I do think there's going to be a train issue. Canada also, and I want to point towards Alberta. You know, I don't know if that's a train issue. There's fire and wind. And I think on the west, we're looking at possible earthquake rumbling. The US, I'm going to go into more, but those things that I just wanted to add now. And please do look out for part 2. Much love, and see you in the next part. Bye for now.